play some.
What do you want to play, man? You go ahead.
All right.
Play something I can keep up with you on.
Soldier's Joy.
Alrighty, that's good.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so you guys are here for the banjo workshop, right? It's the five-string
hammer banjo.
It's the five-string workshop.
What is your fifth string?
They're C's. Yeah, like so it's viola. Viola. Interestingly, Mike and I both play fiddles by the same guy. Made by John Silikowski, and he's in Scottsburg, Indiana. And
he's awesome.
Yeah, he does a great job. Great job.
Anybody looking to buy a fiddle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes great 5 strings, great 4 strings too. He's just he's an excellent guy, great builder. And what number of 5 strings is yours? Do you know?
I don't know. You take a look.
It out.
It's like he puts a few zeros in between, like the first number and the last number.
Yeah. Let's see what. Okay, let me compare to mine. He sticks the tag way back. All right. So yours is the 13th 5-string that he made.
Okay.
And mine's the 22nd. Here you go.
Okay. Mine was supposed to actually go to a man in Alaska. He sent this wood to John, and make me a 5-string. And so John has gotten into the habit of bringing what he makes over to the house. So I tried this fiddle out, and I said, man, if the guy in Alaska doesn't want it, I want it, Yeah. Well, he sent it over there, and surprisingly enough, he didn't want it.
Let's do that for him.
Yeah, man.
Is the body shape the same as the board?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, he said that what he does...
The neck's a little wider.
Neck's just a little wider, and I guess what he was telling me about mine, I don't know if yours is the same, it looks like it might be, that he took a Guarneri pattern and had it blown up just slightly, so it's about 1/4 of an inch bigger, I think, than a regular violin, just to carry the weight of the C string a little bit and just make it a little more robust.
And the thing about Silikowski's fiddles, I mean, he's building fiddles with necks now with more of an arch to them, but most of his 5-string necks are flat. I mean, they've got a little bit of an arch, but they're, pretty flat, and they're real easy to play.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play this in your sleep, if you want to.
When you say
I think I've done that
flat,
before.
when you say flat, Mike, what do you mean? The curve across the fingerboard, or what? The bridge, or?
I mean, say some fiddles have more of an arch. I mean,
Arch on the fretboard?
on the fretboard or on the neck in general.
Okay. Yeah, probably a different angle. A little
Yeah.
bit. But,
It's really good. I mean, this is the easiest feeling fiddle I've ever played in my life.
well, here we are at the Fiddle Workshop. We don't really have anything planned, kind of seat of our pants, and because I figured probably just kind of do whatever you guys would like to do.
You did a great intro to Red-Haired Boy.
Oh, thanks.
It was just an astounding one. Could you just give us that in slower?
Sure. I'll play that, and we can talk about a little bit of that because people usually ask about that stuff. I'm just going to play a little thing quick and talk about the chopping thing.
All right.
So, when I was 13 or so, I was in a group of some friends around the Chicago area, and it was upright bass, guitar, banjo, and myself on fiddle. We didn't have a mandolin player, so I ended up kind of taking the percussive role in the group and just trying to figure some, how do I do that as a fiddle player since we don't know anybody around this area that plays mandolin. And so eventually this kind of grew out of that. Just, I've ended up, being really interested in rhythm, and, all the music I listened to is very rhythmically oriented. And anyway, so this is what he's asking about. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
That kind of stuff. And how many fiddle players do we have here? Okay, great. And, all right. So anyway, that, basically what that is it's kind of an up and down stroke, but not up and down in traditional violin sense where, you're moving across the strings like that. It's more, up and down, vertically kind of thing where the weight of the bow just kind of drops on the strings and it rests there. You just kind of get a sound like that. And it's done, within the binding on the bow, within the first 3 or 4 inches of the bow is where, all that stuff that I'm doing, happens. It kind of comes down, it makes a little sound as it just kind of hits it a little bit. You rest there. When you're ready to lift it up and get the next sound, there's a little sound right there. That's pretty much all, this is, everything derives from that. And they're all then, when that gets a little faster and you get more comfortable, can kind of go out with it too. You can kind of pivot your hand a little bit. That kind of thing. And then what happens is with these you can also pull or and get a little up stroke where you can get some tone. Or something like that. Just that kind of stuff, and everything else just kind of comes out of that, and I listen to drums. I try and figure out what they're doing, the snare drum's doing or the hi-hat, and just kind of try to incorporate that. And it's great for just two of us sitting around and playing, especially when fiddle's usually a melodic instrument, and like saxophone is too. They don't know what to do sometimes when it's not their turn to solo. So and Mike's got great backup too. So it's it's fun to have something where you can if there's just two people kind of play. Yes?
What are you doing on the fingerboard when you're doing that?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just muting it when I have my hand on the right chord that I'm at in case we get a sound. Then it's a sound that works because I never know when I might want to hear the tone or something like that. Usually a double stop, and just I kind of either use my pinky just lightly on it or kind of lift up my fingers a little bit to kind of mute it. And just doing that. That kind of stuff. Just kind of different stuff. I don't know, it's fun. Let's play a tune, and I'll play some of that stuff. You get to pick this time.
Play a tune.
Hell, I picked the last one.
Play,
what do you got?
Huh?
What do you got?
Porky Duke.
Sounds good.
This is the most fun I ever had playing.
I'll tell you what. Mike, talk about
He
the
can
way.
play in a good groove.
Yeah.
Talk about the way you back up. I'm curious about that.
Talk about the way I back up.
Yeah.
Any way I can.
All right.
I chop and do the same thing he does, only the thing he explained to you is very foreign to me. I've never done that before in my life, but it sounds cool, and I'm, like noting the double stop and then, going into the, the chops. I mean,
You're sawing a little more than I am too. You're doing a little more.
yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I either do a straight chop like, or like when a banjo is taking a break, like say I'm with a band, say you got a mandolin chop, you don't really need a fiddle chop, so when the banjo is backing up, I just kind of, when the banjo's playing a break, I just kind of, just kind of do a thing like that, to kind of help it along,
Cool. Cool.
But nothing like what you're doing right there.
Well, I don't do anything like what you're doing right there, so breathe a bit. Other questions? Yes.
When you do those chops, do you always need to have you always need to have a chord, or can you just have it muted?
I mean, you can have it muted the whole time if you'd like to. It's nice to have. For me, I like to have a little bit of a chord there. Just because you do hear it just very, very slightly. I mean, in a jam setting, probably not. For my own peace of mind, just to cover my butt, just in case. I end up playing a little bit of a chord there.
Excuse me.
It's safer that way.
It is for everybody. We don't want to hurt anyone playing fiddle.
And a fiddle is a dangerous instrument. It has no frets. Keep in mind, all of you, that people can get hurt.
That's right, including yourself.
Yes.
Oh. Well, if there are questions at any point, feel free to raise your hand or something like that. Yes. Sure.
When you're really shredding on the thing, how tight do you keep your bow in general? Because I know.
I tend to keep my bow pretty tight.
Me too.
Tighter than other folks. It's kind of a preference thing. I am a hard player, and I do bear down quite a bit, so I need to have a little bit tighter. As evidenced by the many hairs that are broken out of my bow right now. It's not normal. I guess it is normally like this because I always end up breaking them. But there's a week period when I have a full bow of hair, and that's a really nice time.
Same here.
I'm actually thinking about getting. Have you ever tried having the salt and pepper bow hair? You ever done that? They have black bow hair as well. That I've it's purported to be a little bit stronger, a little tougher. It may be a little bit edgier too, and I need all the sweetness I can get out of a bow, really. But I might try they do what's called salt and pepper, which they mix that hair with this hair, so it's a combination of both. And I might see what that's like for a little while, just for an experiment.
Looks like you're using like a cello rosin or something like that, or whatever it is.
It's
It's
just
dark.
regular. Yeah, I use dark rosin.
Yeah.
I like dark rosin. Do you use dark, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah. It tends to grip a little bit more.
Yeah, and it stays on. I mean,
Yeah.
you rosin a bow. I mean, it will stay that way. You don't have to rosin it every time. I like to, but you can still get a little sounds,
Yeah.
even after the show or after you're done doing whatever you're doing,
I've used some rosins before that I felt like it didn't do anything for the bow.
Yeah, it's
Where I had to rosin after every song.
that
using
stick rosin.
I haven't tried that. I tried some super sensitive rosin one time.
Oh,
it was just
man.
horrible. Anybody from super sensitive here?
Oh, sorry.
That's great.
So you're going for a stickier, softer rosin?
I guess so. It grips the strings better, and like Mike said, it stays on the. You know, it can still get results from the bow after a show. You know, don't need to rosin it at every time. I have to wipe my fiddle off every now and then, so I get a bunch on there.
Mine's filthy. I apologize.
Yeah, I had time to take a shower. My fiddle didn't quite make it.
String preference
String preference.
for performance?
Yeah, I use the Dario Helicore Heavy gauge for the first four, and then for my C string I use Dr. Tomastic Spiracore. See, it's a regular viola C, and I found that for this fiddle, you got to find what strings work, you know, for your fiddle. Just because somebody else has got a fiddle that's got a great set of strings on it that sounds awesome doesn't mean that your fiddle's gonna sound great with those strings either. It's really kind of a, you know.
I think that's the way with any instrument, too.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that you play, you know.
Got to find what works for the instrument.
Yep.
So I just found that C string worked better with the, for what, you know, just matched the rest of the other set rather than the Helicore C that they have with it. Didn't speak well enough for me, I guess is what it is.
I like, I just use Helicore Heavy on all five,
Oh.
you know. And they make I believe it's in a viola set. It's a C string.
Yes. I've been trying to get I'll get another fiddle to play. This is kind of fun for. I've been trying to talk to Dario and tell them they need to make a set of octave strings, because they make cello strings and all sorts of different violin stuff, and they don't make a set of octave strings. Anybody heard of octave strings before on a fiddle? Yeah. All right. So for what they are, the idea is basically twice the diameter. At the same tension produces a note that is one octave below. You make this string, you know, twice as thick, it's going to split the octave, the wave in half there. So these are super sensitives, and they're not my favorite. But I actually like Tomastic makes a great set. They're like $80 though, or $120 or something. They're so ridiculous, but they're a lot of fun. I don't know if you. This is probably the fiddle I had, Mike, before I ever got a Silikowski fiddle. This old 4-string.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So,
What kind of fiddle is it?
it was my great grandpa's, and it was just a, you know, Stradivarius copy, you know, from Germany or something like that. It's back in 1908, and the top though is really interesting. It's made of probably about 50 different pieces on the top. They're all about 3-inch strips by about a quarter of an inch, and with diagonal. They're staggered, kind of like you find on a brick wall, and you can't really see it really well from here. But if anybody wants to check it out afterwards, you're welcome to. I forget the guy's name that made it, but he was kind of an idea that he patented back around the turn of the century, and my great grandpa happened to have one, so I ended up getting one.
Still spruce, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, spruce and maple. Where's that A at, Mike? So there's my A string. Play your E. Here's where it gets really good. Play Dreissen Ridge after I get this bow out.
And super sensitive is the only one that makes those?
Super Sensitive makes a set, and so does Tomastic. And I think the Tomastics are more expensive, but I would recommend those over the Super Sensitive. They're actually a little bit thinner. This G string is just almost unwieldy, you know, just because it's so thick. But,
Alright, you ready, man?
not yet. Got to rosin this other bow up.
Do you have to have extra bracing in the fiddle for the heavier duty strings?
No, I think it pretty much is the same tension. It's just, the strings are just thicker. I don't think it's any more work on the violin.
Really?
I'll have to check those out. I've never tried.
I got a different nut made, for the the width of the strings, and a new bridge, and a little bit taller. And larger
Who made
strings.
that for you, Fred?
Fred, yeah.
Yeah.
Carpenter?
Yes, Fred
Fred
Carpenter.
Carpenter.
And,
Nashville.
yeah, he does a great job with everything. Great guy. They run a great shop over there. It's like, why do you want to go anywhere else when you can go to Fred?
You ready?
Want to take lead?
Yeah, man.
All right, go ahead.
The octave strings. That's really live here.
It's fun, yeah. I really wish they were just a little less thick, so that they get a little crazy to play sometimes, especially if you're playing a lot on it. So that's why I want to try out some of the Dr. Gymnastics. But for right now, these will be fun. It's fun if if you've got just a couple different. Maybe if there's a lot of fiddles out, and it sometimes happens. I'll get this out just because it's a different sonic range. It fills a different space, and it just kind of rounds things out a little bit, and it's fun too. Questions about anything? What I had for lunch yesterday? That'd be hard because I don't know if I ate lunch yesterday.
That's what me, man. I don't remember.
I don't either. So don't ask what I had for lunch.
You guys going to be together in the Super Jam tonight
Are
somewhere?
you playing on that, Mike?
What is the Super Jam?
Pete's running something. Where is it upstairs here?
No, it's over at the
Or is it the Abbey?
The Abbey,
It's the
yeah.
Jam. It's over at the Abbey.
I mean, it's
Well,
on the.
it's for whoever wants to play up on the stage.
Yeah, Pete was
So
asking me
just
to
go
come. I'm probably go by for a little while, maybe juggle for a while or something.
Cool. Same here.
Hope-
I'll go with you.
All right, we'll figure it out. I'll probably head over there
We'll
at some
just
point
rock
tonight.
some jam sessions.
That's right.
It starts at 7, so get over there.
Yeah.
Seven.
Cool.
I'd like to see you both up there together. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah, no one minds me having so many.
No, please.
Do you ever play your fiddle out of its position?
I mean, it's,
I
you
have
know,
this Russian thing. It doesn't have any way to hook a chin rest on, and it's really frustrating. And I guess I used to play it down here, so I have all these duct tape and pads, and it's not working out so
Well-
well. But I wondered if there's some other idea for playing.
I mean, does it have a? So it doesn't have a.
It's round. The edges are round. You know, like con.
Oh, so you can't. It doesn't have the lip on it, so
Right,
you
right,
can't
exactly.
attach something. That's
I don't know
really
if I just need
interesting.
to throw it away or.
No. I'll take a look at it.
I just can't figure out how to. My
You know,
neck
that-
gets real sore. And,
They might not have held it up there. I'm not sure what. I'd be curious to know, what the history of that instrument sounds a little bit different, and probably they took it off for a certain reason. They might have played it, kind of resting it right here,
Yeah.
possibly. And sometimes I kind of
Good
get sloppy and I play it down there, or I give myself a rest. But when I'm playing lead, or when I really need to worry about any intonation or anything like that, I have to put it up here because I'm used to it being here. But I think that if you get used to doing something down here, you can do it. Now there are certain things that are more difficult because it's down here, like shifting, that kind of thing. But sometimes
I wanted to ask if you thought it would be worth trying to.
Do you have another fiddle as well?
No, I'm thinking of getting one, but that's why.
You might want to check into having another fiddle and having that be a secondary instrument if you really want to do a bunch of different things with this hand, because it is somewhat limiting to only be down here. If you ever see people play like this, most likely they're staying in first position. But as soon as you it makes it more difficult because you're pretty much resting it right there, and your hand's got to slide up like that. And I would check something else out, but don't get rid of it. The other one, if you can hold on to it. If not,
Can you do Sally Good?
Sally Good. Let's play Sally.
Alrighty. That's good.
Yeah, sure.
Kick it off.
All right. Hurt you, Mike. That's great. All right. All right.
Play something a little bit slow.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we can. I don't know if I can try. We can do something. We can like want some Moonlight Waltz, maybe.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
Yeah, maybe somewhat related to that. When you're learning a new tune, how do you approach working out your bowing patterns? I mean, that's everyone's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. That's a good question. Because that's one of the things that I find toughest to describe to students is what to do with the bow. Because I guess the first thing that you want to do is just play separate bows for each for each note, and that's not necessary. There's a general bowing pattern that lots of things kind of stem out of. And you tie two and then do two separate, like just on it like a scale. I mean that's a. That's that whole pattern right there. There's a lot of, kind of stuff that comes out of that sort of bowing on fiddle. I would say, are you learning tunes from anybody or just on your own? Or
yeah, either off of CDs or written music without any bowing patterns in it.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anybody to get together with, and just kind of watch their bowing, and see what's going on, and you can actually kind of hear bowing. At first you really don't hear it when you're listening to fiddle music, but as you kind of tune into it, as you kind of maybe if you're a player and you kind of realize what it takes to get certain sounds, you can hear that they might be doing a bowing thing here, and you kind of try and emulate it. Just kind of like in speech, trying to learn an accent or something. Or not to have one, maybe. But it's getting together with somebody is really the best way, and just kind of watching, that kind of deal. Such a lame answer, but I'm sorry. Mike, do you have any other insight to that?
No. Other than some people do 3 notes to a bow, and I think the norm is like 2 or 3 notes for the bow. Wouldn't you say?
I would think so. Yeah.
And but take people like Vassar, Vassar's just incredible, but he really puts a lot of notes in one bow,
Yeah, he draws it all the way across the string sometimes and keeps playing. Kind of like a breath. Sometimes you can think of bowing as a breath too.
Right.
You say a bunch of stuff and then you kind of change it a little bit. That's another way, horn players do, or vocalists, they kind of phrase things that way.
Right.
It's just another, listening really is how it'll kind of, it'll kind of present itself to you, I think, as you get along listening with stuff. Like, learning from a book is great, and you also have to be listening to things and trying to learn them off albums, because that's when that stuff really comes into play.
Once you have a tune finished, do you find that your bowing pattern is the same, or are you changing? You're not even thinking about it.
I don't ever think about it, and I don't ever play the same thing twice.
Yeah, you'll get to where that bowing is natural to you.
Yeah.
I mean, where you play 2 or 3 notes in a bow, and I'm like him. It's like I just go out on a limb, and it's not the same as what I played yesterday.
At some point when I'm learning it, though, I probably, if I'm learning a strict melody for a song before I start to do other things with it, I probably 70% of the time will do the bowing and the fingers the same way if I'm trying to, adhere to a specific melody. Then after that, it kind of becomes its own thing. But like, as you're going to ask if we played the same thing twice, and I don't really. And
do you feel yourself consciously getting back into something? You get a little out of phase if you're performing, and then you have to get back to your traditional bowing pattern?
No, I just do the same wherever I'm playing, whatever I'm doing.
As far as
unconsciously
bowing,
going back to it.
Yeah.
As far as bowing, it's just, after you've been playing, for so many years,
How long have you been playing, Mike?
you don't get out of phase very much,
I get tired. I get tongue-tied sometimes.
Yeah,
basically, you're trying to do because I'm always trying to play something new or
Right.
try out ideas or whatever, and and you trip a little bit, yeah, but then kind of works itself out just because you're trying to do something new, but so that does happen on occasion, fingers and with the bow, but then the goal is to try and how good can you cover that stuff up, with
Do it again.
Yeah, you do it again. That's right. Yeah, I meant to do that. Yeah. Mike, how long have you been playing? How long have you been playing fiddle?
I've been playing for 17 years. I started when I was playing. I started playing when I was 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
How
I've
about
been
you?
17 years, but I started when I was 6.
Oh, cool.
Who have your teachers been? Have you taken from?
Mike, who'd you take
Say
from?
what?
Did you take any lessons from any teachers or anything?
I took classical violin when I first started. Took that for like 4 or 5 years, but when I started, I knew that I wanted to play bluegrass, and because I've been around it a lot and heard fiddle players, and I knew that's what I wanted to play, so. Other than that, just local fiddle players and, like Jeff Guernsey and, people around my area would kind of help me out. That's about it.
Okay. That's great. I started with Suzuki when I was 6, just for about a year and a half. My dad's a banjo player. That's how I got into music. And so he was teaching me... He's teaching me these little fiddle tunes, Old MacDonald and just fun little, Boil and Cabbage, fun little stuff as a kid. And so I would be playing that. Suzuki's got these group kind of lessons they do, and I was, kind of get fiddle out and forward on that. And all the kids wanted to learn what I was learning from my dad rather than what the teachers were showing them. So we didn't establish a very good relationship, very early on. So we quit that. And my dad pretty much just kind of directed me, kind of found stuff for me to do, took me to festivals and contests, and, he kind of wrote some stuff out in tab for me and kind of figured something out like that. And, one year I went and got a lesson from a saxophone player and said, give me enough stuff to work on for 2 years, because I don't want to come back for another lesson for 2 years or something. So he gave me a whole bunch of stuff to work on. I'd go to music camps occasionally, every other summer or something like that. But really learning the most is, for me, and I think for Mike too, is just being around other musicians and jamming.
Yep.
Jamming really, puts you to the test, and but it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of, learning involved with that too, and experience.
And people will help you.
Oh yeah.
In these jam sessions, feel free. Most of them, will, answer your questions or jam with you. And, matter of fact, I'm ready to jam tonight, so let's pick all night.
That's right. Let's play Lonesome Moonlight Waltz.
That's good.
Who knows what time it is?
10:15.
10:15.
What time do y'all got?
Depends. Are you going to stop if we tell you?
10:45 is when the next one is. Probably about 10:30.
All right, so we have 15 minutes here. All right.
All right. You play the lead. I'll try to play some kind of a harmony.
2, 3, 1, 2.
classical players and just
Okay.
getting into bluegrass. But with vibrato, do you purposely slow it down? Is that a sound that it's supposed to be like that? Or?
That's how my vibrato is developed. I never really tried to play fast vibrato or classical, type of vibrato, and when I was at school, I would do recording sessions with a bunch of other string players. We do some string quartet stuff or little orchestra things, and my friends always used to yell at me like, "Speed your vibrato up. We can hear you above everybody else," and just because I play vibrato different. I've just found that for me, that's the quality I like to have is a slow vibrato, and I don't use vibrato on every note, and that's one of the things when I have a student that's come from a classical background, I have to tell them usually to stop playing vibrato. Do not play, and it's hard. You can see their finger. They want to shake their finger, Don't do that.
I usually play vibrato more on a slow thing.
Yeah.
I might do it on a mid or say up tempo tune and not realize it, But,
vibrato. I kind of turn it on and off, sort of thing, and different speeds. If I might bring it in there and speed it up a little bit, then kind of back it off so it kind of fades in and out like that. But generally, mine is slower, and it's just something that from whatever music I've listened to and for whatever it is about me, that's the way that's developed. Stefan Grappelli is a great jazz violin player, and he's got this really quick vibrato, and it's really characteristics for him too. And I don't know how he does it. My hand just doesn't move like that.
And for jazz, it's more.
Yeah.
You're used to hearing that. But I was just wondering in bluegrass if it's like this sound that it's been forever, or.
I think it is a little bit slower. I think it's a little bit. Vassar Clemens plays it really slow. He plays really wide vibrato. I play a wide and slow vibrato. Vibrato is one of the things that usually you can tell if somebody comes from a classical background. If they're playing fiddle tunes, due to the type of vibrato that they use, because probably the classical violin vibrato that you're using probably is not necessarily, might not be something that will work as well.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't sound bluegrass.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bluegrass.
Yeah,
that's a good question though.
Sliding into notes too is something that classical people don't do.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's the slurs. There's
we do that occasionally.
That's right. And they'll double shuffle.
Yeah.
But. Sliding is something that's very fiddle oriented, and I think it comes out of just emulating vocalists. Because in blue notes, blues singers and people slide with their voice all the time, and fiddle, violin, whatever is one of the closest instruments to the human voice that there is. So a lot of the stuff that's done on here, vibrato for one, is done to try to reproduce the voice.
Plus, it's in bluegrass music, it's like, there's blues in this music, and you feel that, and like he said, just imitate the vocals,
Yeah. There's even some guys like Tim O'Brien that sing and play at the same time.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm working on some of that stuff, but I don't have any, vocal capabilities really.
That
so.
new Hot Rice CD, he does that High on the Mountain on there.
Yeah.
Oh my,
he does. It's a couple tunes that he does. It's just great. Singing and playing.
And he's playing the seventh thing. It's awesome.
It's in like a. Stuff like that. It sounds so cool because it's just this tight little chord. That they almost all sound the same. It's almost like two other voices. there. But Tim's so good with his voice, and if you guys haven't checked some of that stuff out, he's
Tim O'Brien.
Tim O'Brien.
Flat awesome.
Yeah. So, other questions as we're wrapping it up.
Who's some of your heroes?
Some heroes on what instrument?
Fiddle.
As for fiddle, my favorite fiddle player is probably Daryl Anger, and he, if you're not familiar with him, he was one of the founding members of David Grisman's quintet. And David Grisman stuff that he did back in the, I guess, when did it start? Back in the late 70s, 76 or 7 or something like that. Yeah, and he does this rhythm stuff too, the chop. He was, it was kind of funny because, I started to try and figure this stuff out, and then somebody's like, hey, have you heard of Daryl Anger? He does all that stuff. A friend of mine's dad, decided to put a sail on a surfboard, and he thought he invented windsurfing until he found out it actually existed already. But I digress. So anyway, Daryl Anger's one of my favorite guys. He's jazz and bluegrass, and he did this group called Turtle Island String Quartet that if you're a classical player you probably really, really dig, because it's this improvising string quartet. It sounds like no other string quartet. They got a cello player that's walking bass lines and slapping stuff and doing all that. They're all doing the rhythm things and playing chord changes and pizzicatos. Just awesome. It's called the Turtle Island String Quartet, and they were together for about 10 years. But so he's one of my favorites, and Vassar Clemens and Byron Berline and Kenny Baker, and just so many great fiddle players. So, Mike, who do you listen to?
I like Benny Martin. He's big influence, to me. I'm big into the traditional bluegrass, way of playing, and him and Chubby Wise, and Kenny Baker, Byron Berline.
Yeah.
I love, as far as fiddle players of today, Stuart Duncan is probably my very favorite.
Yeah. He's great. Fresh and inventive, and but still traditional, and he can branch out. He's great. Awesome.
Well, you guys each have your very unique styles, but both you're real rhythmic players.
It's fun that we both, have different favorite fiddle players too, and that probably, as a result, we have different fiddle playing too.
We play different styles. I mean, I'm more traditional bluegrass, and I like to go out on a limb too, but, and then you got Casey here who's just playing crazy.
I'm standing on a limb with one foot, the whole time.
He was always like that. We would do these contests, when we were younger and braver. And he would get out there, man, and just, judges would take off for what they called Holcomb bowing. You remember that?
Yeah. For all the, I never subscribed to whatever they wanted to hear or play, and I didn't want to learn.
He went out there, man, and he would play a tune for like 5 minutes and just wear it out.
I never really got any first place in contests.
Yeah, me neither.
But I don't know. Any other questions here?
You got any favorite keys you like to play in?
Well, I have some keys. I have some least favorite keys.
What are they?
A sharp.
Yeah, tough key.
Well, A flat. I mean.
That's it.
F sharp.
I find F sharp is it can be difficult.
No open notes except for C.
D flat is another key that's tough. Depends on what the tune is. Like there's certain if you got to tune in F sharp and it's like a slower ballad, or but if it's like a blazing bluegrass song in F sharp, it's game over. It's more difficult because I'm not used to playing. So much of the fiddle, or bluegrass stuff is open strings. There's a lot of that into it, and there's no open strings.
But then in B, you all out of bluegrass, fast.
B
it works.
B is getting there, but it's all right. B is all right. It's tough though, I find sometimes, especially when you get down on the lower strings, because then there are no open strings down there. I don't know. Yeah, B can be difficult. D is a great fiddle key. D, A, G. C for us, because we got the C string here, sounds great. We should play something in C.
Okay.
Like East Tennessee Blues or Billy.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Any other questions before we finish up with the tune here? spending your morning with us.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's all like jam really late tonight, okay?
Yes.
And Chris Jones, y'all play at what time?
We're playing at noon here and 5 over at the Abbey. And who are you playing with this weekend?
I'm playing with Dale and Bradley.
And when are you playing?
Creek, and we play at, I believe it is 2 and 4. Is that right?
I think it's right on it.
Yeah, that's 2 and 4, and then go see Chris and go to the big jam, whatever.
Yeah, we'll be over there at the jam at some point.
And,
so
we'll wear it out, man.
that's right.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3.
songwriting workshop is next with Dale Ann and Chris Jones.
Oh.